Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regularly scheduled Tabortown Council meeting for August 17th, 2026. Before we get started, I'd just like to comment, and you'll notice we're all wearing hockey jerseys today, and they are the Raptors, the Tumbler Ridge Raptors jerseys from our friends in Tumbler Ridge. As you're aware, we had a recent competition here that we were involved with the Craft Hockeyville, and the town of Tabor and the Tumbler Ridge was the two finalists. So as a result, before it came down to the final, the decision, Mayor Krakauka out of Tumbler Ridge contacted me and thought it might be fun for whoever the runner-up was to wear the other town's hockey sweater. So I had agreed to that, talked to council about that, and administration as well. So we just thought it was very fitting that we would do the same for them. So checking with Mr. Tebow, our CEO, Tumbler Ridge has not yet worn our sweaters. They have our sweaters, our Tabor Royal King sweaters, correct? And they are going to be wearing those at their next meeting. I believe it's later this week or next week sometime. Next week sometime. Okay, that's great. So that's what that's all about today, in honor of our friends in Tumbler Ridge and Mayor Krakauka and their Tabor Town Council, Tumbler Ridge Council rather, and the entire community. We congratulate them for being runner-up. We're very fortunate to win the Craft Hockeyville event, and very, very pleased with that, and very thrilled with that end result. But we do want to congratulate our friends in Tumbler Ridge as well for a job well done, and I congratulate them for their runner-up victory, which was fairly significant as well. And it's some great competition and friendly competition, and all in good fun for the same purpose. So that's what that's all about today. And again, we want to wish our friends in Tumbler Ridge all the very best, and thank you for being part of this as well. And thank you for supporting Craft Hockeyville also. So before we get started, could we just do a group picture there? Megan, if you don't mind, we'll just come up to the front there.
Yeah, I'll get the crest. And you're gonna have to squeeze like you like each other.
Sideways.
All right. Sorry, Troy. Yeah, more hockey players. Nope, squeeze. Tighter squeeze. Keep going. Keep going. Sorry, everybody, keep going this way.
Turn sideways a little bit.
Yeah, 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Just back up.
Of course we do. Toes are hurt.
All right. Straight down the lens at me. 3, 2, 1.
No.
Straight down the lens, there will be flash.
Did anybody see the picture of me eating cake? Did you see that?
No.
Oh my gosh, wait till I show you it.
We're using it for blackmail purposes later. Okay, now everybody smile like you mean it. This will end up on CBC. There, got it.
Good.
Thank you.
Go on the Tabor Titans. Anybody see the picture? It's terrible. Tabor Titans did a bunch of pictures of the hockey opening. You should see me eating.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
It's unbelievably terrible.
I'll look at it after.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thanks for everybody participating in that. And again, thank you again so much to our friends in Tumbler Ridge. We'll also make sure they get a copy of that photo as well. So we will first start off, we have a subdivision authority meeting to take care of first. And I will call that meeting to order and ask for adoption of the agenda as presented, please. Councillor Firth,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
motion on the table, all in favor? Carried unanimously, thank you. On to item 3, adoption of the minutes. Item 3.1, minutes of regular meeting of Subdivision Authority, June the 8th, 2026. Mr. Tebow.
Administration has no adjustments to the minutes. Back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Rempert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion that Subdivision Authority adopts the minutes of the regular meeting of Subdivision Authority held on June 8, 2026 as presented.
Thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carry unanimously. Thank you. On to item number 4, subdivision applications. Item 4.1, subdivision TT 26-0-005, 420256 Avenue. Mr. Tebow.
We'll have Ms. Hillary Jansen come forward and give council the info on this one.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Jensen.
Good afternoon,
Good
Council.
afternoon.
Acting as the Subdivision Authority, I'm here to present today subdivision application TT 26-0-005, which is the subdivision of the parcel you see on your screen there. You may recall this parcel was recently subdivided in December of last year, along with the parcels directly to the east. So at that time, we had mentioned that they probably would be coming back at some point in time to subdivide these lots as per the R2 district. And so here we are today with that application. So the application is to subdivide this particular parcel into 28 lots. And the intended use for this lot is for row housing, which is a permitted use under the R2 district. They did come forward just a month and a half ago in order to do this, to redesignate these sites to medium residential within the Northwest Area Structure Plan. So this is all in compliance with all levels of our statutory documents within the town. So there are no additional criteria that would be required for this particular subdivision. The municipal reserve was taken care of when this was originally subdivided under that previous application, which was TT 25-0-010. So the conditions I have outlined for you in your agenda package include, if approved, that the outstanding that any outstanding property taxes are paid and up to date, that they enter into a development agreement for this particular subdivision. In this case, they would enter into an agreement for the shallow utilities, deep services, water and sewer already to the site, as per when the 56th Avenue was originally constructed. Easements or right-of-way shall be registered against the titles for any utilities as required by utility provider. I haven't heard anything from any utility provider that they would require, and I do believe they are already in place. And the subdivision shall be registered in a manner that is satisfactory to Alberta land titles. The reasons that we have recommended approval to you as subdivision authority is that it does meet all the matters related to Section 9 of the Subdivision Development Regulation. It adheres to the Northwest Area Structure Plan, as I mentioned. It adheres to the R2 zoning, which allows their proposed use, which is row housing. And there have been no objections or concerns that were received regarding this proposed subdivision. Within the Northwest, since there is an area structure plan, just so you know, we aren't required to send out notices to adjacent landowners because there was already a public hearing process, obviously quite some time ago, but there still was a process whereby these lands were already designated for their future use. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any questions arising? Councilor Reffert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This isn't to admin or that. It's just my hope is that the overall developer of Westview sees the benefit of finishing 43rd Street, maybe with council and Min working very well with them to do this kind of stuff. And, you know, I'd love to see them think about 43rd Street.
All right. Thank you. Councilor Wiebe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through to Ms. Jensen. I was just wondering, as this area grows, if there's a plan how to mitigate traffic out to Highway 864 as everything's growing and there's going to be more buildings and everything out there.
So all these applications are referred out to Alberta Transportation, given the proximity to that particular intersection. They have, at this point in time, there are no concerns with regards to traffic. They do rely on the municipality as the area builds out that we would be cognizant of those and be doing traffic impact assessments as we go along to ensure that if there's any future upgrades needed, say like turning lanes and such off of 56 onto the highway that they are done. But nothing has come up to date that those are required.
Thank you. Councillor Sorensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I know this isn't part of the subdivision meeting, but since Councillor Remford brought up 43rd Street, there's some significant potholes and may need some upgrading. Who's liable for maintaining that road or that street?
I will put that back to our CAO.
So to date, it's the town that's looking after that. And so I've seen it graded. I live over there, so I've seen it graded. I think they try and get to it every 2 to 3 weeks. It has been recently regraded, and I think we actually used some of our asphalt millings in the last time we regraded it to try and keep the dust down on 43rd. I also believe that they installed a bump on purpose to try and slow people down for the houses that were subject of complaints on the south end of that new 43rd Street. So we're doing what we can. When it rains, it potholes a bit quicker, but we do go out there and try and maintain it.
All right. Thank you, Councillor Sorensen.
Yeah, and I'm just prepared to make a motion that the subdivision authority approve subdivision TT 26-0-005, Plan 2610-531, Block 4, Lot 1, within the Southwest 6-10-16 west of the 4th, with the following conditions. And I was just wondering, did you want the reasons also put in the motion?
Yeah, the reasons are always included. You can just say as per the following conditions and reasons if you wish.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. And I just ask for a motion to close the meeting, please. Motion on the table to close the meeting. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. And I will call the regular scheduled Taber Town Council meeting to order and ask for an adoption of the agenda as presented, please. Councillor Sorensen, motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Item 3, public hearings. There are none. Item 4, adoption of minutes. Item 4.1, minutes of regular meeting of council, July 20th, 2026. Mr. Thibault.
Again, administration has no adjustments to the minutes. Back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Anything arising? Someone prepared to make that motion? Councillor Firth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move the council adopts the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on July 20th, 2026 as presented.
Thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 5, business arising. There are none. Item 6, bylaws. Item 6.1, bylaw 10, 2026 land use bylaw. Mr. Thibault.
We'll have Ms. Hillary Jansen come up again and go through this. If council recalls, we did have first and second reading, and then we took a bit of a pause because we needed to wait for the traffic committee to get together and have a conversation about some of the concerns that were raised at the public hearing. That did take place, and I'll let Hillary speak to what transpired there.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Jansen.
Thank you. So this obviously is for a third reading of bylaw 10-2026, which was amendment to the land use bylaw for the Star on 54 property to go from their existing designation of institutional recreational to a direct control district. So on May the 11th, council provided second reading of the bylaw and also directed that administration take this item to the traffic committee to get more information with regards to the concerns that were relayed from the public on traffic. So just to refresh your memory on what this bylaw was all about, it was that rezoning to a direct control. So we wanted to have specific uses on the site given the nature of the area. So across to the north there are schools, 2 schools, and then obviously it's in a established residential area. So limiting the uses to those that would be beneficial to the area and to the intent of the development was seen as a very important aspect when we were talking about this with the applicant. Within the IR district, there is many of the uses that they already have on site are already allowed and obviously already under construction, but there were a few uses that were not within that district that they desired to have that would be beneficial for their development. So they are listed in your agenda report. There are 7 of them, being a commercial patio, a caterer, consumer services, food and beverage service facilities, office, retail store, and the commercial movie theater. At the public hearing that was held on May the 11th, town council did hear all those in favor and those against the proposed development. With regards to those who had concerns, I'll just summarize what those concerns were. There was increased traffic and congestion, parking constraints, the retail aspect of the development, so like that broader range of uses. There were some concerns about that. The commercial patio, mainly about increased noise having it outside. There were some concerns on that. General increased noise and disturbance, and then decrease in property values. There were also many people here at the public hearing who were in support or in favor of the development for the following reasons. There was added amenities, so the cafe and concession to that area of town was seen as an amenity for those people, both at the schools, and some of the neighbors mentioned those. At the addition of the performing arts facility to the town, which is already a use that's established within the building but would continue on within the direct control. The addition of the movie theater was seen as a positive, a gathering place in the town, and then the proximity to the schools and that it was conveniently located to them. So that's kind of summarizes what you would have heard at the public hearing. And then on July 22nd of this year, the traffic committee met to discuss this application and the concerns that were expressed with regards to traffic. And I do believe later on in your agenda report, the full traffic report is in there. So I have just provided a very tight little summary of that. The recommendation that the town wait and monitor that area, and once the building is completed and fully operational, that the traffic be reevaluated to determine if any traffic controls should be put into place. They didn't foresee that anything, there may be consequences to things happening, but you don't know what they are until it's done. They also put forward the recommendation that the Star on 54th Board of Directors post parking etiquette signs on both sides of the building, just because there was a concern people were parking in front of the residences instead of in the parking area just to the south of the building. So that's one thing that could be put forward to the Board of Directors. Obviously, those can't be really captured in a rezoning application, but they are things that, as we're working through this with the applicants in general, we can say these are the recommendations, and hopefully they can take those to heart and work with the town on those concerns specific to the parking. So with that, I have provided a recommendation for you that you approve third reading of the bylaw. We believe from an administrative perspective that the development as it's presented doesn't have any egregious impacts to the neighbors, although, I mean, the council can determine through the public hearing comments whether there's merit to those or not. We feel like the addition of the uses, those 7 uses, will add to the facility, add to the area, add an amenity that the town doesn't currently have at this point in time. So with that, I will turn it back to you for your discussion.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jensen. Anything arising? Councillor Antonuc.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Jansen, just wondering about that first recommendation from the traffic committee, where it says that the town wait and monitor the area. Was that something that maybe gave you pause, or
I wasn't at the traffic committee meeting myself, but when I read the report, I thought that was a very prudent comment to have, in that there is no, you don't know, because those particular things like the movie theater and the patio and maybe that retail component aren't fully developed there. The uses are pretty innocuous, but there could be some traffic impacts in the future. And I think with any development in the town, whether it's on 47th Avenue or on 54th Avenue in this case, that you monitor what's happening to see if traffic controls are warranted. Even on 43rd Street, where, our traffic controls warranted to slow traffic down, to, have different type of routes in place, to have those discussions with landowners and the schools and such like that. It didn't cause me any concern. I think I think that's a good way to go in terms of, after it's been established for, 6 months, a year, whatever that may be, that it be looked at more closely just to see how has it really impacted, what are the consequences of having that in that particular neighborhood.
All right, thank you. Councillor Firth.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Not a question, just a comment. I just want to thank the traffic committee for those recommendations. I think, similar to what Ms. Johnson said, is that it's a good way to deal with it. When the board was here and presented, they seemed very willing to work with the neighborhood residents. I think sometimes when things are changing, the mind automatically goes to like the worst case scenario of what the impacts could be on the community you're in, on that neighborhood. But rather than just a knee-jerk response and like, you know, putting up speed limits or like traffic control, we wait and see what the actual impact will be on that neighborhood before we make any adjustments. But I am in favor of the motion.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen.
Thank you. And as I was actually going to say exactly what Councilor Firth said, because she sat on the traffic committee before I did. So, you know, we discussed what was brought up through the public hearing. And yeah, there's a discussion of how to proceed moving forward, you know, once something were to arise. So it's hard to evaluate something of what if, you know. So that's just what was discussed. And the police chief had some very good insight to just moving forward as is.
All right, thank you. Councillor Renfret.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, obviously we got some concerns about this, but like I said, like the councillor has said, us keeping track of it, administration being aware of it, traffic committee. I think we have a councillor that sits on the Star on 54's board of directors. So we're, you know, as much as if I was, I guess I lived off the street and I had this trepidation, I would be happy that it is something that we are very concerned about. So I'm willing to make the recommendation that council approve the third reading to bylaw 10-2026 to amend land use bylaw 13-2020.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, on to item number 7, action items. Item 7.1, Council Financial Report Update, June the 30th, 2026. Mr. Thibault.
So Troy Shuchuk is sitting and ready and willing to go through our Q2 financials and field any questions that we have. So over to
All
Troy.
right, thank you, Mr. Shuchuk.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So what you have in front of you is our Q2 financial performance, both the operating as well as the capital variance report. I'm going to hand it back to council. You have questions.
All right, thank you, Councillor Sorensen.
Yeah, and just welcome, and this is your first audit committee meeting, or whatever we're calling it nowadays. I just want to give background. We normally spend an hour and a half to 2 hours discussing this, so I'm struggling as to condensing it down to just a regular council meeting.
Okay.
So normally we did go page by page and, you know, discussed the variances. So I don't know how you want to proceed, Mr. Thibault.
I would suggest if there's any questions based on what's in your package that by all means feel free to bring them forward and we'll do the best we can to answer them.
Councillor Sorensen.
Okay, so I have a few questions and if anybody wants to jump in. So the first is, you know, obviously there's $9 million difference in our cash and temporary investments. So I was just wondering for an explanation for that, if you have one. Like, again, it's hard to throw these at administration in the middle of a meeting.
Could you indicate which page that you're referencing?
It's page 3
Okay.
at the very top, like
Right.
right where we're starting. Or page 39 in the package. So it's just the comparison from 2026 to 2025. There's a $9 million
Sorry, page
difference.
36, which would be,
Page 39,
The statement of financial.
statement of financial position.
I don't know that offhand. So
Yeah.
I will have to get back to you on that. I know that we've used some investments to help fund some projects for 2026. I know that we've redeemed a recent Scotiabank investment. So that's why you see a change in there as well. But we can definitely get you the breakdown of that.
Okay, and then I just wanted a bit more information for deferred revenue on the same page. 4,591,841.
Deferred,
It's on the same page, page 3 of the
Yep.
package.
deferred revenue, deferred revenue.
Again, like,
I don't see it, sorry, I'm trying to.
Fourth line under liabilities.
I think you're looking at the wrong page.
Okay. So there was a correction. I know we have the details around that based on how the accounting treatment around deferred revenue is to be treated. I think that's one of the primary reasons why. We can get you those details as well.
And then on page 8, which is 39, 40, 41. Oh, that's what I did is I put 2 pages on each of mine.
Okay.
So professional services under other, the operating budget is $1.2 million. And I feel that that's quite a substantial number for it just to be other. I was wondering if there could be a breakdown of that.
Yes, we can get you that detail as well. I don't have the breakdown. I know that we are on target or on budget for it, but we can provide the other professional services other.
All right, thank you. Councillor Weep?
Sorry, Councillor Sorensen, just since we're on that same page, page 8, I did have a question about professional services, the inspections and architecture,
Yes.
that we're at 299% to use.
Right.
Do you have more information on that?
Yes, so we changed a contractor, a long-term contractor, and as a result of that, we had to close out a series of permits and inspections, and as a result of that, there was one-time costs. Hence why it's over $215,000 in excess of.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen?
Yeah, and I just don't remember ever getting like a complete financial breakdown of the summer games. Do you guys remember seeing that at all? I remember the beginning, but not all the information. Actually, the final report, I see that there's a year-to-date amount there. I was wondering if we could get that just for future impact as to whether we should apply again for that.
All right, thank you. You know, just a comment, I guess I've kind of noticed similar to what Councillor Sorensen suggested about other and/or miscellaneous sometimes comes up. But I thought initially those are smaller items, right?
They can be, Mr. Mayor, yes, in how we
Yeah.
budget. Sometimes it's also what has occurred and where we settled that.
Right. All I'm saying is like it's a 1.2 million for the other seems that's pretty high. So without a breakdown, like it's tough not to question that, right?
Got it. So
So I guess is there some kind of a accounting rule with other miscellaneous, as far as what's acceptable and what's not? You know what I mean?
what we can do, Mr. Mayor, for budget 2027 for council consideration is ensure that that's broken down further in the
Right,
proposed
yeah.
budget. That's one way we can provide better information to council.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. I can understand smaller, I don't know, $500 or less for a big organization like Town of Tabor, but that kind of figure is significantly higher, right? So just as an ask and or suggestion to make it more comfortable for all of us. Any other questions arising? Councillor Etnock?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question, just as I'm looking at this with new eyes for the Town of Tabor capital variance report. And this is at June 30th, so that would be halfway through the year. but I look, the actual amount spent so far is 1.6. Is that kind of based on the time you could do the projects? Is that waiting for contractors? Like where we're only 1/6 of it spent? Just looking for some more background on that.
So I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Egan here shortly. I'm just going to though say is we typically start our capital construction projects, April, May, right? Depending on the weather. We've experienced quite a bit of rain this year as well. So we will be in a better position to understand that at the end of Q3, right? Before we lead into the fall and winter. But I can hand that over to Mr. Egan for any further supplements.
No, generally speaking, you're just seeing the lag in the invoicing. The vast majority of our projects occur during the summer, the work, and so therefore the invoicing follows 30 to 60 days after the work is done. And so, yeah, we'll have spent most of your money by Q3.
Perfect. No, I just didn't know when it gets recognized and just trying to get the timing in my head. Thank you.
All right, Councillor Sorensen?
Just one thing that is missing is normally we get return on investments too.
Okay.
So that's normally part of
Okay.
the record provided to us.
Will do.
And maybe this isn't part of this, but I would like an update of council's discretionary fund,
Okay.
just so that we know how much is left in there also.
All right, any other questions arising? Mr. Thibault?
I guess I don't normally have questions, but in this instance, would council prefer that we do this as a separate meeting and as opposed to putting it into an existing meeting all the time? Because we can do the Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 as a separate standalone meeting so that we can take the time to go through. I mean, it's not that we can't take the time to go through today, but I do understand it. We used to go through it with, a committee of 3, and then we would just see this, and the committee of 3 would then speak to, what we talked about in the longer meeting. So just put it back over to council. Administration can certainly look at it that way and come back and do these separately if that's what council desires.
All right, Councillor Sorensen?
And just not to throw, these at administration and them not have the answer. So if there's some type of way that we can communicate our questions beforehand, or I don't know how administration wants to handle that either.
Yeah, we would actually appreciate the questions beforehand because then we don't have to make you wait for the answers. There would be an explanation for every one of them, and so ask whatever question you want, and we certainly would come back with the answer. Whether everyone likes it or not is something else, but it would be nice to, otherwise we would end up just deferring again. So yeah, that would be a nice way to handle it.
All right, now typically in the past, audit committee meetings were an hour and a half, 2 hour range, I think on average, right? So quite a lot of information there, and once that was done, we were able to pass it on to the rest of the council members as well, if anything came up, concern related to the committee, and then some good discussion that way. So everybody was on the same page. Councillor Sorensen?
I was wondering then if we could table this item to our next meeting, providing that we need more information before I'm comfortable in accepting this report.
Yeah, that's totally up to council. If you'd like to table that, you guys could have that discussion and we could do that.
Council, all in favor of that? We're all good with that? Yeah. Motion to table, correct? Yes, please.
Can I make a motion to table this item to our next council meeting?
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carry unanimous. Thank you. All right, on to item 7.2, Financial Update Community Center, Phase 1. Mr. Thibault.
So this is in relation to the community center, and we're following the same format that we had sort of laid out at the very beginning when we first presented the project. And so we'll have Troy go through, and again, feel free to ask any questions.
All right.
So I think the last update that we had was dated May 30th of 2026. So as of approximately early August, we've incurred approximately another $50,000 of expenses, primarily on restoration construction, as well as demolition and asbestos are the primary drivers. As you can see, the insurance company on the far left-hand side, actuals to August 7th, they have directly paid $829,000 in actuals directly to facilities, contractors for demolition, asbestos. The town of Tabor has incurred, as you can see there, a small chunk of that, which totals around $278,000. And again, that's whether it be temporary facility equipment, whether it be demolition, asbestos, restoration, construction, and so forth. So really, in essence, out of the $1.1 million that has incurred as actual costs, we have paid approximately 20%, 18% in those actual costs the town has incurred. The original budget was $6.25 million.
All right, thank you. Councillor Renfret?
Thank you very much. Obviously, there's more to come, I imagine, going to administration and to Darren and to Troy. But as of right now, I mean, this looks like the decision to using the town has been at a great benefit. The rink's open, right, which is nice, and I see that, and it looks all good. And, you know, I know a score clock's coming and sound is coming, so I know a few people like see a temporary score clock and think that's it, see temporary sound and see that it, but no, it's very positive, so thanks to everybody.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen?
Just a question, because council did make a motion previous term as to upgrading the sound system. What happens with that money that we had, allocated for upgrading the sound system? Mr. Thibault?
Yeah, so the money will still, there's a grant that came, I believe that is with minor hockey. And so insurance will cover our existing, putting back our previous sound system. The new sound system, of course, had upgrades to it. And so there's still a good significant cost difference between what insurance would have put back and what it is that we actually were going to upgrade to. So I believe the money is still with minor hockey, and the transfer is going to take place after they think they have their next meeting or something. Is what we knew. And I think we've actually even supplied some of the costs to Tabor Minor Hockey so that they knew that the money. We did the same with the score clock for the Titans, so that they knew that the money that was coming our way was actually being used for the purpose that it was intended for. So, yeah, we will still have a cost difference, but there'll be a lesser cost to the town because we've got grant money and we have insurance money. So I won't say net zero, but with the upgrades, it's not going to be a large cost to the town, and we'll be able to return some of those capital funds to the reserves.
All right, thank you. Councillor Renfret?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess going to Councillor Sorensen, so about $108,000, it was a grant that Tabor Minor Hockey got and is in the process of transferring to the town. And then, like I said, I can't imagine we can, whatever the number is for what insurance paid. But I know we were roughly in that 250 to 300 grand. So, yeah, I mean, that will be savings. I imagine something with it.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen?
Yeah, and thanks for the update. Yeah, I just wanted to know about that. And I just want to again thank the administration and the staff for working on this project because, it's a crucial building for our community. And I really want to applaud everyone for doing this in such a timely manner so that we can get kids on the ice. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Just a question. I know you get the totals here, but is there a breakdown coming at some point as far as what insurance covers, what it is exactly, and or what the town is covered for whatever it might be? Like this is fairly generic, I guess is the word.
So, sorry, did you want to?
So I can reassure Mr. Mayor, we track all the actuals in detail. We categorize them based on what you see here.
Right.
We're to be very frank, I'm out $1,289 from this total that I'm still working through those details, but we have every detail to support the actuals that we've incurred. As for, wanting to see the details around insurance, what we've received in insurance is what you see there.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess what we're saying is this is that tracking. So the sort of red number is what insurance has paid. As far as details of what that has covered in particular, we've just provided a rolled up report. We administratively have all the details of, what asbestos was, what, paint was, what all those things were. Were you expecting to see that level of detail here?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah, I thought so, because isn't that what we normally see, like for quarterly, for, you know what I mean, a little more of a itemized breakdown, if you will. And I mean, I know we've got the figures here, but it's just like it just seems to me to be fairly, like I said, generic and/or maybe a bit vague, even that way, compared to what I'm and/or council's used to seeing in the past with other similar expenditures.
So administration is trying to treat this the same as we do any other capital project. So when you see a capital project,
Yeah.
council approves a dollar amount, $1 million or whatever it is, and we come back with money spent against what budget was approved. So we're trying to be consistent with that same model. In this particular instance, we just used what the original contractor gave us for a quote. And so the line items that you see there, I mean, there's lots of vacancies right now, but the line items that you see there is what we had originally taken from the original estimate, and we're just trying to keep them in those same buckets to keep it consistent from start to end. But we have all the detail that make up those numbers for insurance purposes and for what the town has had to pay for. So if that's something that council would like to see on this particular project, we certainly could provide that.
Yeah, to me it would be helpful. Like I said, we've seen that before in other projects, right? As far as that goes. So it's to me it would be very helpful that way in understanding where the expenditures are involved, whether it's insurance or talent, et cetera, combination, right? All right, any other questions? Councillor Sorensen?
I'd just be prepared to make the motion that council accept the report on the financial update of the community center phase 1 to August 7th, 2026 for information.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimous. Thank you.
Okay.
On to item 7.3, proclamation National Depression Screening Day. Mr. Thibault.
So we've had a proclamation request come forward. I don't know that we've seen this in the past. It's not that it hasn't happened in the past, but I think this is the first time that at least our municipality has been asked to participate in this. So all the details are in the background or in the attached letter that came our way. Administration has come up with a recommendation and, of course, alternatives. So I'll hand it back over to council to have the discussion.
All right, thank you. Any questions arising on this topic? Councillor Sorensen.
Myself, along with fellow council members, along with you, Mayor, participated in the Taber Police Force or Service strategic plan, and mental health was identified. And by making this proclamation, I wonder if it would just be more awareness for mental health, and if, this program helps people identify certain areas that need, of concern that need counseling. Maybe it's something that we would want to address. So that was just my thought.
Yeah, no, good point. Actually, that's true. A lot of things did come up through that Taber Police Service training. And I think it's fair to say that since COVID, there's been a lot of changes and through the mental health aspect and everything else involved with that. So I would agree that that's important. And there's a lot of different proclamation requests we've had in the past, some of which we've followed up on, some not. But in this case, I think that this is a pretty important topic of discussion, and I think awareness is a big thing. So absolutely, I would agree with what you're suggesting also. Councillor Firth?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through to administration. What is actually involved with the follow-up from proclamation? As Mayor Prokop said, we do get a lot of proclamation requests, and I know that it's, I think the intent is just to build awareness, but as far as like once we make the proclamation, the mayor signs the proclamation, and then it happens at the prescribed date, and is there anything else involved?
In this instance, in this particular proclamation, there's not much more involved than creating the proclamation letter, and the mayor signs that. There was an example proclamation provided in their request, and so administration would potentially use a majority of that, maybe tailor it a little bit for the town of Taber, and just have the mayor sign it. And this would typically be an annual request. We haven't in the past just kept proclamating every single year because of a one request. So in this instance, there's no financial requirements, and after the letter's built, it gets signed, and that's all that happens.
Thank you.
Right, just to reiterate a little bit on that, also, like just an example, the Family Violence Month through Safe Haven for that awareness, that was done some time back, and that's generally recognized any given date when they're recognizing that particular day of that month of November. So this would be similar in that, unless somebody else is going to run some kind of an event. I guess that's where that might come up, correct, Mr. Tebow, in this regard? But currently, I don't think there's anything planned that I'm aware of, but it certainly could happen. But it would be something similar to that as an example. Councillor Sorensen?
Yeah, I would just be prepared to make a motion.
Sure.
That council proclaims October 8th, 2026 as National Depression Screening Day in Taber and authorizes the mayor to sign the proclamation.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 7.4, information for council. Mr. Tebow.
Okay, we've got 5 items on the list. Taber Police Commission meeting is one of them. I probably couldn't answer many questions in that regard, but we've got a couple of members here who sit on the commission if there was any questions. If not, we've got the Taber Food Bank newsletter, which usually hits us once a month. We have the grant fund tracking information. This one typically lines up with our quarterly reports for finance. So if there was any questions on the grant tracking spreadsheet, I might be able to field some of those. I did note on this particular grant tracking sheet that I think the first 5 or 6 items, looks like there's been a putting together of a few different tracking spreadsheets, because this is a new one that we have received from Progressive West Consulting. And under the primary applicant, typically we would have the name there of the primary applicant, but I think the first few of them from 2024 and 2025 don't have the actual primary applicant name, but you could probably figure it out from reading what the description says. Outside of that, if there were questions, I could field them on that particular report.
All right, thank you. Councillor Weed?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, I didn't quite catch Mr. Tebow, but I just wanted to go back to the newsletter for the Taber Food Bank and just note that there has been a date change. If anyone is interested in attending Guns and Hoses, it is listed, the date is August 24th for that, but that has been rescheduled. The corn won't be ripe enough for then, so the new date will be Monday, August 31st. And just some background for that, in 2025, nearly 11,000 pounds of produce was harvested from that one evening. Items were used locally by the Taber Food Bank and other partner organizations, as well as in Lethbridge, and anything that wasn't able to be utilized locally was sent up to Food Banks Alberta and distributed across the province to food security agencies. So if anyone needs to change their calendar for that, I just figured I'd give you a heads up.
All right, thank you. That's always a really good event and generally very well attended and a lot of fun besides. All right, thank you for that. On to, oh, sorry, I guess we're not done with that. Right.
Yeah, so item 4, that's the Special Traffic Committee minutes. And so we kind of spoke about that meeting was put forward just for the Star Theatre. So that was the minutes from that meeting that we popped into here. And then we've got the capital projects status update. Again, hopefully I have enough people here to field if there's any questions around any of those capital projects. And that is the final information item.
All right, thank you, Councillor Sorensen.
Yeah, I just want to state for the grant writing services that there are nonprofit organizations within the community that are able to use this service. So you can see under primary applicant, Trail 77, the Tabor Legion, Tank 77 Museum, amongst other organizations are using this. And it's at no cost to them. Is that correct?
That's correct. We cover the grant writing services and allow any community groups, nonprofits to use it.
All right, thank you, Councillor Weeb.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just had a question under capital projects, the grant funded, there's a couple that say UR. What does that stand for? Because I'm not familiar with that.
It's not coming to me right at the very moment. I don't know if you know what that stands for, Mr. Shuchuk. So an example would be this green one right here. Wastewater treatment plant. Oh, yes, utility reserve. That's the funding source. Thank you.
All right, any other questions whatsoever? All right. Seeing none, nothing further. Mr. Tebow, that's got it covered, your end?
Yep, that's that.
All right, no motion required. On to item 7.5, operational highlights. And we'll go through each department. If you've got any questions, please advise. Start with economic development operational highlights. Parks and Recreation. Councillor Renfret.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to add to what Councillor Sorensen was talking about, the reopening of the arena went great. The Orban Becky Memorial Wall with kind of a graphic rather than it kind of hidden around the corner, like it just looks way better in there. Everything looks awesome.
Great, thank you. All right, Planning and Development Department. Operational highlights, treatment facilities. Public Works and Facilities. Councillor Weeb.
Sorry, I have another question that I don't know what it means. On page 84 of the packet, what does sanitary service connections capital work mean? Because it says sanitary services connections capital work will start end of August. Impacted residents will be notified.
Mr. Egan, can you help me on that one?
So this is the $160,000 that council approved in the capital budget for 2026, where we're going in and targeting services that we believe will fail very quickly and starting to preemptively deal with those prior to work that we're doing for asphalt and concrete work in those areas.
All right. CAO operational highlights. Administrative Services. Fire Department. Councillor Sorensen.
Can I put the fire chief on the spot? And I seen that the fire chief of the town of Coaldale also put a warning to the public in regards to people throwing cigarette butts out the window. And I was just wondering if you could reiterate kind of a public service kind of thing as to, you know, proper disposal and what, well, I just want to let everybody know, like, it's very dry this time of year and we don't want to put at risk any of our neighboring communities by throwing garbage out the window and unintentionally starting a fire. So not really the police chief's thing, but I wanted to do that because I feel that it's very important. And I did see the ground or the grass in the ditch started on fire because of that. So just a public service announcement from Joanne.
All right, yeah, thank you. And the fire ban, chief, that's going to be on for a while yet, I guess, eh?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, actually, the fire ban was rescinded last week due to the
that's right, it
rain,
was.
and those conditions did change, and they've changed throughout Highway 3 region, as well as the Calgary Forest Protection region has lifted there to an advisory only, and as we are an advisory only now. And great questions. So we're always doing campaigns about different processes of being cautious with fire. So, thanks.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for the fire chief? All right, next is corporate services. Counselor Sorensen?
I just see for operating reserves, for restricted and unrestricted, it just seems really low. Only 50,000 for restricted. So I was just wondering if that's normal.
It has been normal since the previous update, so it's consistent, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should that be more? Should that be something on the council's radar as to increasing, perhaps?
Possibly for budget 2027, yes, and we'll be coming back to council with some proposals on the 2027 reserves.
Okay.
And so will be part of the budget process.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Any other questions whatsoever? All right. Seeing none, no motion required there. On to item 7.6, Mayor and Councilor reports. Councilor Sparks, can you start us off, please?
You bet. Had the opportunity to take a tour of the Highway 3 twinning project to see how it is progressing, and also to look at the proposed route from Burdett around Bow Island and on to Medicine Hat. So I got to take a tour of that. I also completed some online training this month. I was unable to attend the reopening and the inductee ceremony, but I was in attendance at the public skating event later and had some good discussions with residents there and some past residents who came and were impressed at the way the arena looked as they came back to this the ceremony that was held there. So all in all, it was a good month.
All right, thank you. Councilor Reffert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the meetings I was able to attend. I attended Tabor's Table this weekend, and it was really good. The first time I went to it, it was fun. More Tabor people should check it out. Like, I know there was lots of people there, but it was really good. I see Versette went off without a hitch, so I'd like to thank administration for that. They were very, very happy, very happy. I attended the rink opening, and I was wondering, did you go out and skate, or did you just watch? Were you on the ice?
What do you think?
So I didn't, I'm still a little leery yet, but no, it was a really good time. And then, like I said, upcoming, obviously, Cornfest is upcoming, so can't wait to see you guys all down there.
All right, thank you. Councilor Weeb.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended every meeting I was required to attend. I attended the welcome reception for delegates and the grand opening of the large ice surface and presentation to the Wall of Fame inductees. I also attended the movie in Confederation Park. I think it wasn't hugely attended, but it is a nice free event for the community to take your youth out to, and kind of a fun evening. So I attended a webinar on property assessment and taxation for data centers, and also attended the Tabor's Table, which was a lovely evening, as Councillor Rentford said, and I would love to see that happen again. It was the first year I attended. Before the Tabor's Table, I attended the tour of the Tabor region hosted by the MD of Tabor, and I also attended the first Cornfest EOC meeting. I'd like to commend all of the different agencies and organizations that participate in those meetings and preparing for Cornfest. I know that while Chamber is the main organizer of the event, it takes a lot of work on parts of many different people in our community, and not only in our community, but other agencies outside of town, to carry it out and plan for emergencies and contingencies and make sure that, and I know that there's lots of different town departments involved in it. So I also volunteered at Cornstalk for one evening, and some updates from some boards I'm a representative on. The Joint Economic Development Committee is working on a marketing initiative for the region. And for Chinook Arch Libraries, that includes the Tabor Public Library, there are some concerns due to Bill 28. By January 1st, 2027, every library needs a plan in place on how they will enforce age-based access to any materials that may need restrictions due to the new legislation. There is some confusion on the bill. No specific list of titles has been given to libraries, and what that means for libraries, if they're supposed to use standard classifications or what kind of restrictions there's supposed to be. And some individual libraries do already have restrictions in place. So it is anticipated that guidelines will be released later this month, but that doesn't give a lot of time before January 1st. Any costs incurred with complying with the law are the responsibility of each local public library board with no current funding or supports in place. And as a result, some public libraries and system boards have formed a coalition under the name of CAP Libraries. So if any council members would like to attend an online session by the Public Library Services Branch as the operational guidelines and amendments for libraries, let me know. I can send you some links. It was also brought to the attention of the board members of Chinook Arch. The government of Alberta is funding library boards in Alberta based on 2019 population figures. So this is affecting some of their revenue, and Chinook Arch has had to dip into the reserves to cover expenses. And Councillor Rentford already brought up that Cornfest is coming in a week and a half, but the Midway passes are currently on sale until August 26th. And the Tabor Agriplex is hosting Cornfest Ballerama again on August 28th at 6 p.m. VIP tables are currently on sale. There's a community information event at the last farmers market on September 10th. The purpose is to give community members the opportunity to learn about the groups and organizations that Tabor offers. So I would encourage any community members out there that may watch or listen to council meetings to attend. It won't only be the farmers market, but it'll give you some opportunities to find out more about different organizations in the community. Tabor Special Needs Citizen Walkabout is on Thursday, September 10th, and the Legion Centennial Gala is on September 19th. Tickets are available at the Legion branch office and Johnson's Drugstore for $30 each.
All right, thank you. Councillor Firth.
Oof, Councillor Weep, that is a hard act to follow. I know. I attended all the meetings I was required to attend. I also attended the rink reopening and the Wall of Fame presentations. Props to Councillor Antonuc and Councillor Sparks, who actually got out on the ice. I did not, but I did eat some cake, which was delicious, and it was a great presentation, and it's good to see the rink open again. I also attended a Lunch and Learn webinar about property assessment and taxation for data centers. It was put on by South Grow, the same one Councillor we mentioned, and that's all I have.
Right, thank you. Councillor Antonuc.
I also attended all my required and scheduled meetings. I attended that Cornfest EOC meeting as well, and just echo what Councillor Weeb said about everything that goes behind the scenes to make everything work. And so just thanks to everybody who does the behind the scenes work for that. Attended Star on 54th board meeting, and their AGM's coming up. So people who are are interested in that, that'll be coming up right away. I also attended Tabor's Table, and it was my first time as well, and it was cool. I got to shake hands and rub shoulders with a MP, an MLA, and a senator. So it's a nice little thing that we brought some outside people into Tabor, and I thought that was really cool. I was at the grand opening for the arena, and it was really cool because both the people who were honored, Joe Orban and Dr. Becky, have done things to help me out when I was younger, playing hockey and just growing up here in town. So it was really cool to see that. Two good men that are definitely worthy of the honor that they received. And yeah, I went out and skated. It was nice. I just did a couple laps and it felt really good. Even then I stopped into Versette I don't have any kids who play, but it felt good to see. And I just thank all administration and everybody who made that happen. It means a lot to me and to a lot of people in this community. I grew up with Devin Seguchi from Versette, so I got to visit with him too, so that was pretty cool. And then I took part in various meetings with the delegates that came who are seeking opportunities in Tabor as well.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I sit on the traffic committee, so I attended that special meeting. I attended Cornstalk, and what a fabulous event, and how many nonprofits actually receive funding during that concert also. It's just such a giving event for the community also. And then I also got to be a person in the audience to see the music, so that was pretty fantastic. I also participated in a delegation, which actually enabled me to have a tour of the water treatment and wastewater treatment. So I want to thank Mr. Egan and Mr. Flaherty for that, because I had never done that before. So I really appreciated that. I attended Tabor's Table, which included the MD's tour that they did before the event. And I really want to thank the MD for putting that on. That was actually a very integral part of the whole Tabor's Table. I feel we hosted MLA Grant Hunter, MLA Newdorf, MP Bexty, and then there was a senator there, and also Prairies Canada and several mayors and councillors, so from different communities. So it was very valuable for people to come to our area and actually see some of the local growers. So we went to Molnar's Farm, and then we also went to Prairie Gold, so a processing facility. So a very special day, and ate too much, so that was my own fault. So that's my update.
All right, thank you. For myself, I did attend the annual Communities in Bloom barbecue event. That's always a lot of fun, well attended there as well. And I also attended Cornstalk this year for all 3 evenings and helping Tabor Titans at their beer tent and with all the serving required there. I attended the Civic Center Arena reopening, as well as the Wall of Fame inductees, Dr. Gerald Becky and Mr. Joe Orban. That was very well done and very well received for all involved, and can't thank people enough for making all that happen, and a fun day with that as well, with the skate and all the festivities attached to that. I attended the Coaldale Summerfest Candy Parade, as well as their celebration event as well. I also attended the Versette Hockey School and helping the Tabor Titans with the barbecue for the kids and everything involved with that. And I can tell you the Versette camp was very, very happy with the town of Tabor and all involved in the shape of the ice, the kind of shape the rink is in, and just the fact that we were able to achieve that goal to have that up and running for the Versette camp that was promised some time back, right? Mr. Thibault and Mr. Egan and the company are all aware. We question that a lot with not trying to put undue pressures on anybody, but it was all for the greater good, and it worked out great. So they were very, very happy with that, and looking forward to additional contract years. I think this is coming up another year. I think is that not correct? Yeah. So they're looking to extend. So whatever needs to be done in that regard, they're looking to extend that. And whatever is appropriate for next steps in that regard. I also attended the MD of Tabor farm tour event, and thank Reeve Miyanaga and the entire council and their administration for all involved with that. That was a lot of fun, as Councilor Sorensen said, and I think we had a bus load of about 30 people there, correct? So very, very well attended, and very, very important tour, and a lot of great connections made there as well, and topping off with the Town of Tabor Table event at the Confederation Park. And thanks to Amy and all involved with that, and the Town of Tabor and everything else involved with the economic development that's making that work. And I think 4 years, Amy, is that year 4? Right. So I think this one was the best one ever. They're all very good, but this one's the best one ever, and a lot of great comments with that, and looking forward to next year as well. And that would be my report. Any questions whatsoever for anybody? None whatsoever? Okay. Thank you. No motion required with that. Next would be notice of motion. Mr. Thibault.
So the 2 we still have pending are up on the screen. They're not going to be quick ones by any stretch of the imagination, so they are still pending. And we did have some back and forth with one of our councillors, so I'm not sure if there was another notice motion coming forward tonight or not, but back over to council.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was thinking that maybe we could have a notice of motion in regards to noise during construction in residential areas. We actually had a resident who did a presentation in regards to his ideas of how we could improve certain bylaws. And then there was a complaint of someone doing construction on a Saturday at 4 a.m, I believe was the incident. So I'm thinking there's a need for something, so I'm gonna make the notice of motion, and then I guess we can discuss it. So in accordance with the Municipal Government Act and the Town of Tabor's procedural bylaw, I, Councillor Sorensen, would like to give notice of my intent to make the following motion. Council directs administration to review the Town of Tabor's Community Standards Bylaw 15-2018 and any other applicable bylaws relating to construction noise and hours of operation, including a comparison of practices in similar municipalities, and return to council with recommendations, including potential bylaw amendments, and to clarify permitted construction hours and improve enforcement where appropriate.
All right, thank you. So typically, Mr. Tebow, this would be set for the next meeting, correct?
So we've kind of done both ways. If council would like some time to think about this, then we can certainly wait till the next meeting, because that's what notice of motion is.
Right.
But if council felt like they wanted to go through and have some discussion around that and make a motion on that tonight, you could do that as well.
Sure. All right, thank you. So for myself, I think all of council is aware of what's kind of prompted this particular notice of motion. Are we okay with dealing with that tonight, or would you rather wait until the following meeting? We're good for tonight? Council, yeah. Yep. Okay. So we do have a motion on the table. We can discuss that accordingly as well. Besides, anything arising? All right. Nothing whatsoever. Fairly straightforward. Thank you, Councillor Sorensen, for bringing that forward. That's an important venture for sure to cover. We do have a motion on the table. All in favor? Opposed? All right. Carried. Thank you. Councillor Sorensen.
So I apologize to administration, but I'm on a roll, so I have another one.
Oh, okay.
And it's in regards to the audit committee, so we kind of discussed this already. So do I just read? I made one up, so do I just read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In accordance with the Municipal Government Act and the town's Tabor procedural bylaw, I, Councillor Sorensen, would like to give notice of my intent to make the following motion. The council directs administration to review the Town of Tabor Audit Committee Bylaw 19-2025 and any other applicable bylaws relating to reporting to council, including a comparison of practices in similar municipalities, and returning to council with recommendations, including potential bylaw amendments to identify required reporting standards and the required routine reporting of them. And maybe if I can add also, if we want to keep it in the main council meeting, or if we want to, can I add that?
We'll take that on as part of the review as you requested.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So same format. We more comfortable waiting for the next meeting, or are we okay to deal with that tonight? Is that motion on the table? Councillor Sparks?
Yes, the previous motion, I had no problem with it. I just don't like not having the opportunity for a week or two to be able to peruse and think about a motion like that before I raise my hand to it. It's not that I'm against it. I just don't like no previous notification or background information of why this motion is coming forward or anything like that. And so that's the only reason I don't put my hand up in favor, is because I like more time to be able to get the information I need to make a qualified decision.
All right, thank you. Just a question from Mr. Tebow. So with any notice of motion format, is that something that can be included in the package also as a rule, or is that not part of the routine, if you will?
Yeah, there's not a lot of until administration actually has a motion, there's not a lot that we typically prepare without council's say-so. So that's kind of the purpose of the notice of motion, is so that we can then go prepare and bring something forward. So while we're happy to prepare notice of motions prior to, we don't typically go and do a bunch of legwork until council tells us to go do the legwork.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's up to council what you'd like to do, but sometimes we don't even know what we should be pursuing until council has a discussion.
Right, okay, thank you. Fair enough. Councillor Firth?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through to Mr. Tebow. Is it possible to have that notice of motion? Like, usually it gets sent to the councillor that is intending to make the notice of motion. Is it possible to send it out to all of council so that we can review it just before it's brought up? I know it doesn't have a lot of background, but it would just maybe be helpful for me. I like to see it. I like to read it, help to absorb what the information is.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at also, as far as if that's appropriate or not. But
I guess that it's not inappropriate because we're treading on new ground from what we used to have from our standing items list. Administration's thought was, if we end up sending that out to all of council, then all the debates are happening, not just with the one person that wants to put it forward. And so it almost starts to defeat the purpose of doing it. But administration is not opposed if we're going to follow the same format. But yeah, it would just be just a notice of motion. There really is no, I know that we've kind of bounced them around with council, but we did specifically just give it back to the one member who was asking. But I don't really see the harm in that, as long as we're not trying to come up with an answer prior to coming to the meeting, I guess, is sort of why we're doing what we're doing. But I mean, I'll leave it to council. If that's information you'd like to have, certainly can do.
All right, thank you, Councillor Sorensen. Sure, yeah, you bet.
Right, with the understanding that it's not a motion until it's actually read into the meeting as a notice of motion. It's just for information so that we can review it, but it's not for discussion until it's actually been read into the minutes.
Yeah, and I would further, maybe that would be helpful for, Councillor Sparks or anyone else who feels like they're in that position. The reason why we kind of want to allow for the option is sometimes, especially throughout the summer, for example, we don't have another meeting for 3.5 weeks. And so some things you just don't want to wait that long. And some things maybe don't matter so much. And so that was another piece of the puzzle, that if we wanted to move on something quicker, we could, is kind of what that was about.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm bringing this one forward, because I read the package. We only received it Friday afternoon. And then when I'm reading the package, it's under bylaw 19/2025. It says reporting to council whenever possible. And I don't like that wording. I don't agree with that wording. I think that there should be a minimum of quarterly reporting like it was before. And so I find that the audit committee is very important. That's like a huge responsibility as council, the finances of the town. So that's why I brought this forward, just wanting it to be more actionable than in this meeting, than waiting and postponing it for a future meeting.
All right, thank you. So again, we kind of got some mixed reviews on this. Would you rather wait on that one to discuss formally at the next meeting, or tonight? Mr. Tebow?
I will say with this one in particular that our Q3 reporting is, 3.5 months away or something. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
Like, we were already going to we were going to table this and bring it back to another meeting. So we might be okay for this one if people wanted to wait. But if not, that's fine as well. I just thought I'd let you know that we already plan on bringing Q2 forward in that fashion. And till we get to Q3, I don't know how urgent that might be for everyone.
Councillor Antlik?
Yeah, I like reading things. I like absorbing it. So, because we can, I would just say let's move it to next. That'd be my opinion for this.
All right, Councillor Sorensen?
Yeah, and I guess I'm confused about notice of motions, because It's bringing something forward, and even if it was in our package, we wouldn't really have the information behind this. All I'm doing is asking for more information so it'll come back at a future meeting. Like by tabling this motion, it doesn't get us any further. Like you're just gonna get this notice in your package,
Right, yeah.
and then we're gonna read this notice, and then we're still not gonna be any further ahead. So like I feel like we should vote on whether if council wants to see more information on this, or if you don't, then it just will be defeated. That's what I think of a notice of motion, is just asking for more information. Is that correct, Mr. Tebow?
We have a hybrid version, so I'd say that's correct for us. The actual notice of motion is in that fashion, is supposed to be just that, and then it comes up at the next meeting. But you're not wrong in that it doesn't materially change from now till then. But the true notice of motion is just that, and it's letting council know that in 2 weeks' time, that's going to be something that we talk about. But because we used to have standing items, administration was trying to find some middle ground on that concept. So it's right both ways, and we're kind of trying to use a hybrid version of that.
All right, thank you. Councilor Ranford?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess to all the council administration, I see it two ways. The more I would know, the more information I can get to know if I want to even to get the information. I guess that's the opportunity. However, we do lose time, and I can see it both ways. So I would say leaving it up to the mayor is a spot. I get it, but I see it both ways. So on something like this one, waiting or not waiting probably won't affect my opinion.
All right, thank you. Councilor Sorensen?
Again, like my first notice of motion, no one had seen it before. No one had any other information. We didn't really discuss it, but it's moving forward to a new meeting. I have a new notice of motion, which again, nobody's seen. We kind of discussed in today's meeting. We're not voting on it other than just getting more information back for council. It's a pretty important topic. So I would be in favor of this moving forward for a vote.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Sparks?
Yes, and just my definition of a notice of motion is a council member brings forward a motion which notifies council that this is going to be coming up to the next meeting. That's what it is, okay? And yet our first motion tonight, we voted on it. And my opinion is a notice of motion is exactly that. We are letting council know that this is my thought, and we need to discuss this in a future meeting. And that's what a notice of motion is. That's what it is. I personally cannot get my head around a notice of motion coming and then taking the time to vote on it that same night when there's been no time for anyone to think about it, to ask any questions that they may have over a motion like that. And so that's just me. That's just the way I like to do it. And that's what in my opinion, that's what a notice of motion is. I'm notifying council and administration that this motion, we need to discuss this motion in the future.
All right, thank you. Councilor Firth?
Okay, and anybody please correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, the intention of a notice of motion is to bring it forward, and then all of council decides whether this is something, like as Councillor Sorensen said, that we want to discuss or not. So you or I or any other single member of council can't put something on the agenda just because we think it needs to be discussed. So my impression is that we vote on this notice of motion, and that is the majority of council or not saying, yes, we would like to discuss this at a future meeting.
Yeah, so thank you all for that. Back to more confusion.
Well, you do have a motion on the floor, Mayor, and so you
Yeah.
could just call the question and see how that goes.
Yes, like I said, I think that's one that just passed here. It was the second one we've had in the last couple months. Similar, very straightforward, and it passed accordingly. But I guess that's where I'm struggling a little bit as far as understanding all sides. And I think some time back, what Councilor Sparks had said, I was kind of under that same impression that there's basically a notice of motion can be read, and then there's really no discussion, period. And that's why I was asking about the appropriateness of the rules and what council's comfort zone is, et cetera. So that's where I'm struggling a little bit. And now that we've done this a couple times successfully, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot or feel anybody or have anybody feel pressured as a result, but we should be consistent, right? Number one. So I guess that's my question back to you, Mr. Thibault. Does this create difficulty for administration and or council as well for how we go forward with that sort of scenario?
It seems like it has created difficulty, but if you were true to notice of motion, it is supposed to be just that, a notice of motion. If administration doesn't want to tell council what they can and can't do, again, we used to have that standing items list. The idea was to not have any surprises, so administration could do something. Now, the notice of motion, the second notice of motion that was read tonight, the first one administration knew about. The second one sounded pretty acceptable. It was almost the exact wording of the first one, really, with insert different topic kind of thing. I believe it's really up to council to decide, do you want to stick to what a notice of motion is, or do you want to do something that acts on something immediately? And there might not be a one-size-fits-all. Maybe they don't come forward as a notice of motion if you actually want to create a motion. I know administration would still be happier knowing what's potentially coming and helping craft that, because I believe they come across much better, and then administration knows what it is that's being asked. So Councillor Sorensen's second notice of motion, I believe, is pretty clear what she wants to ask, and so administration can go away and do something with that. But I don't know that it's a debate that I can or should do something with. I can tell you what notice of motion is supposed to do, and what we're doing is something different than that. But administration was trying to bring forward some hybrid solution for council.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Firth?
Yeah, so I think maybe we need to have some discussion as a council to create some clarity around what a notice of motion is and what it isn't, and how we use it and what those guidelines are. But if we indeed have a motion on the table, then I think as the chair of the meeting, then it would be prudent to call the question.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning, actually. So thanks for that. Thanks for all your input. And I'm not trying to take sides, I'm just trying to be consistent. And I guess that's where I'm at, and understanding there are also different cases where it could be something that's very time constrained involved, and we can't wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And so in that case, that could maybe be just not a notice of motion, just a motion with some discussion prior to that with administration about the need for doing something in that regard. And then that changes that, right? So that changes that set of rules. Correct, Mr. Thibault?
Yeah, if it gets labeled as a notice of motion, then it should be handled in a particular way. If it's just a motion,
right,
you would be able to handle that differently. I mean, quite honestly, tonight's is a notice of motion, not an actual motion. Therefore, you're voting on that as opposed to just being a motion.
Well, because we've done the one tonight and then one sometime not so far back, that I'm going to call the question and hope all are okay with that. So we do have a motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Great. Thank you. I'm confused. Okay. Well, we're good anyway. In this case, we got to have some discussion about it anyway, so I think that sort of changes things. positively, and we're at where we're at. So, all right, Councillor Sorensen.
Well, I'm just going to continue. I'm just like, sorry to confuse everybody. But when we receive our agenda packages, it's been either Thursday afternoon or Friday. And I feel as a counselor that doesn't give me adequate time to review the package, especially during a weekday when I can notify administration if I need more information or more clarification. So I don't know if this is a notice motion, but I'm putting forward that we ask for at least one more day to review our package so that if we do have questions in regards to what we're reading, that we can notify administration during a weekday, not the weekend, and we can perhaps get some clarification before the meeting.
All right, thank you. Mr. Tebow?
That one's going to be a little more problematic. We have in the procedural bylaw the times when we have to have our stuff done, and then we don't even do our review with the agenda review committee until Thursday at 11 in the morning. And so when we see it on a Thursday, that's as fast that our current process allows us to do. So what you'd be asking for us to do is to revisit the process, and we'd have to, currently we do things 1 week prior to the meeting. And so we would have to back that up. We'd be doing things like a week and a half prior to the meeting. It's not that it's impossible, but our current schedule and our procedural bylaw, we're following that, I guess is what I'm saying. So we would have to bring the bylaw back to council and have a discussion around what that might look like and what it means for getting that, a day earlier. It's certainly not impossible, but currently it is what we have in our bylaws to adhere to. So I guess I will put it back to council, but we probably want to think a little bit more about that motion and crafting something so that we capture everything we need to from a bylaw perspective and procedures.
All right, thank you. Councillor Sorensen?
Yeah, and I just want to be respectful of the process. And when we're receiving sometimes the agenda packages, not as large, but sometimes they're pretty heavy. And then we might need clarification or, during this particular meeting, I did have questions and I didn't know how to actually move forward with them other than this kind of awkwardness. So I would like to perhaps like even last, when we had our previous deputy mayor, just because of scheduling, we didn't get our package till Friday. And so that really limits the time as a council member, how much time we have to review the package and the actual weekdays where we can get information in regards to that package.
All right, thank you. Councillor Firth?
While I don't disagree with Councillor Sorensen, it can be really tight sometimes, especially when you've got a big agenda package. Some of them are 300 or 400 pages that you need to go through and to read that and to understand it. But I had asked this question before, and I think because you kind of have to look at it moving backwards. So the agenda review happens the Thursday morning, and then administration would have to have any RFDs that need to go into the package need to be there a week before. So then that's only a week between the council meeting, because really there's only 2 weeks between council meetings. So then that's only a week, 5 business days to get anything done, and then we're already meeting. So then if we back it up, even as Mr. Tebow said, a week and a half, that's 3 business days between meetings to get anything done. And I know sometimes the turnaround is that's too fast. It's not coming at the next meeting. It's not going to come for 2 or 3 more meetings. But I just don't know. It's tough. We have to strike that balance between giving administration enough time to prepare the adequate information that we need, and also enough time for us to be able to read it and understand it so that we can make a good decision.
All right, thank you. Councilor Renfret.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I guess to Councilor Sorensen and Council Administration. Right, turn it off. I look at it kind of like, I don't think it's an awkward conversation. I think you have some valid concerns regarding the Q2. I think were great questions, and I think, it sparks more talk and more debate. So, I mean, there's a part of me that is glad you have some of the questions since it keeps everything going. I think this process is kind of more living than it is, this meeting is done and then we don't have to worry about it. Everything takes quite a bit of time, right? So I see it in that way that they're not awkward to me. I think it's some good conversation that, I guess I would love us to be perfect. We knew everything and we just went, yep, and everybody was great. But I think we're gonna be chasing our tail backwards, like how Councilor Firth was saying. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. Councilor Sorensen.
Okay, so I just wanted to share my feelings and my opinion, and we can move forward and we can proceed as this council fits. But I just wanted to voice my concerns.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that very much. Councilor Sparks.
Yes, and Councilor Sorensen, don't feel bad about it, because there are times I feel the same way. The exact same way, that I just don't, it just seems like I don't have enough time to get everything in that I need. So please don't feel bad, because your concerns are well taken. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So moving on, we have no delegations, media inquiries
Same as usual. None.
before. All right, thank you. I just asked for a motion to move into our meal break and to move back into closed session upon our return, if you would, please. Somebody.
I'll make that motion.
All right, thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? Carried unanimous. Thank you.